everybody, and welcome. I'm Kathi with Simply Cards by Kathi. And today is Thursday, the 16th of May, 2024. And I'm excited to share with you a card using the Magnolia Mood Bundle. I think this is such an elegant bundle, and you can do very little with it and have a card that's truly elegant. So I'm excited to share that with you today. If you're new to my channel, I'm happy you found me. Welcome. I hope you like what you see and hit that subscribe button. And if you're with me live or you catch me on the replay, thank you so much for your support and being with me. I hope you'll enjoy today's card. So I'm going to flip this camera down and we're going to get started. Okay, so I want to show you what we're using today. The Magnolia Mood Bundle is an online exclusive. It is a cling stamp set, and you have several images, and then you have some really great sentiments there. Now, what I love about it is these dies. You have a very detailed die here, and we're going to be using this today. And then you have some more detailed dies as far as a smaller magnolia bloom, some leaves, and then you have dies that also cut out your stamped images. So we're going to be using this large die today and this one. I've also cut out some of these detailed leaves. We'll see if we need them. And we'll go from there. Now, a couple other things that I'm using. I am using the new Eyelet 3D embossing folder. I love that folder. It's just gorgeous. And I'll show you the layer that we're going to use that's embossed with that. And then any circle die. I am using the Spotlight on Nature dies. I used the Spotlight on Nature stamp set earlier this week, and now I'm using the dies, and I'm using this large one. What I love about these dies, and let me just show you, you have 3 different edges. So this one is little leaves. You have one here that's dashes and dots. And then you have one that's like our radiating stitches. So beautiful die set. So let's stop talking and let's get started. So I am going to pull in our card base, and I'm using Mossy Meadow. And this is an 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Standard A2 card base, fits in your standard envelopes. And I'm just going to line this up and give it a good burnishing. Now, don't worry about measurements. There's very little to remember as far as measurements today. And I'm going to have a PDF for you. And that link to that PDF will be right in the YouTube video description, or you can find the post on my website, Simply Cards by Kathi, and it will be up there no later than noon tomorrow. So sit back, relax, and just enjoy the live class. So that's your card base. Now I'm going to add a layer of white. You could leave it blank, just a plain white layer. I embossed it with that Eyelet 3D embossing folder, and I just think it's beautiful. So let's go ahead and adhere that to our card base. I am going to use my liquid multi-purpose glue. I just think, for me, this does a better job of adhering because of all the cracks and crevices once you dry emboss with a folder. It just, I think, adheres a little better. Now let me line that up there, and we'll give that a good press. I just slide the top over a touch, a titch, whatever, and we'll press it down. And I just want to make sure I get good adherence. So I do work my fingers around on the emboss to make sure they adhere. Okay. Next, I want to show you how we're going to stamp that. I'm going to use the very large image. for the Magnolia. And I'm not going to use Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I am actually using Smoky Slate, and you'll understand why as we go a little further. So I'm going to ink this up really well. I like, especially with large stamps, to use my stamp pad and actually turn the stamp right side up and then lightly tap to get good coverage. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to go straight down, apply even pressure, and I am going to let this sit here for just a few seconds to let that ink adhere to the paper and then lift up. And here's our image, just really pretty image. So I'm going to come in over here, and guess what? We're not going to color much of this image. Now I am going to show you a couple tips that I do for coloring the leaves, but I am not going to color the whole image. We are going to color the center, and I am using my light and dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to come in with the brush end and just add some accents to these darker spots. And then I'm going to come in with my light and just kind of blend that in, just the center of the flower. Okay, now for the leaves, I'm going to color a couple of them, and then I'm not going to make you watch me color them all. You can see when I lift this up, these leaves have a lot of accent points. Emphasis points that Stampin' Up! Provides us with the stamp. So I'm going to come in with this one, and I'm going to use my bullet point, and I'm just going to add some of the dark mossy meadow to the edge of the stamp. I'm also going to come in here and add a little bit, and I'm going to come in here and just add a little bit of accent here, and then down in here. Now I'm going to take my light mossy meadow, and I'm going to come in with the brush point, and I'm going to blend that and just add some color to the rest of the leaf. Now, it doesn't really matter if you use the dark or the light first. Do what's comfortable for you. I tend to add my dark first and then come back in with my light, and I can add to that if I need to. So you can always go back over and add more color if you choose to do so. The other thing, tip I have for you is that I am very light-handed, um, almost always with any of my coloring medium. The Stampin' blends are pretty vibrant. So once you add color, you can't really take it away. These are pretty deep colored, and I kind of went out of the line there. But I just want a little bit more depth to some areas of that leaf. So I'm just going to lightly brush. And then as it dries, it'll get a little lighter. Now let's do one more. I'm going to do one over here. So I'm going to come in here with where that dark is, and I'm just going to lightly go back and forth to add color. And I'm also going to add some color right up around the edge here. Okay, now I'm going to come back in with this light one, and we'll finish this leaf up. And then I'll show you what the finished product looks like, all with what I chose to color. So very little if you choose to, and it really does look very elegant when it's done. So let's add this. I am going to come up over my dark because I want it to blend, and just come in real light with that tip so I get some sharpness to the edge of my stamped image. Okay, so here's just a couple leaves. You can see I left a lighter color in the middle because leaves do vary. And let me bring in, once I colored it, I used the one die I showed you, and let me bring that in for you. And it fits in right over the stamped image. And this is what I die cut once I was done. So I think, a very elegant point to the card. So let's move that off to the side, and we're now going to add our elements to finish up the card. Now, I did use this, remember I said very detailed die, and I cut out a piece of mossy meadow for the background. And we're going to layer one over the other. So let's get rolling here. So I did use the Spotlight on Nature, the largest circle die, and I'm going to this is going to be adhered to the front of our card. But before I do that, I want to add my the detailed die cut flower to that. So in order to do that, I am going to bring in my glue gun with the fine tip, and I'm just going to add some little points of glue along the way. I don't need to completely adhere this down, because I'm going to mount the other die cut right on top of this with some dimensionals. But I do want it to adhere somewhat to this circle. So, and let's see, that should be pretty good. Let's turn this over. And I want to add this right about like that. And I'm just going to adhere that down. Again, some of these are going to float off, and I can add just a little dab of glue here. And I think that looks good. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Now here, we're going to go over this and add this right on top. And you can see those really detailed die cut leaves are going to show up underneath there. So let's add some dimensionals here. And I'm going to use, I think, some large ones. And let's go ahead, and I am going to cut these. I'm going to use my edges and cut some in half. I just feel like I get more, I don't know, they go a little further this way. So let's add some of these. And I want to make sure I get the leaves for sure, because I don't want those to roll up or get damaged in any way. So I'm just going to go right all the way around the edge and get those. And then I'm going to pop one or two in the center. So let's add that. So I hope you have some fun plans for the weekend. Something, some time for yourself, where you'll get to either spend with family and friends or get to do some crafting. Next week, I am going to be doing a mystery stamping on Wednesday evening at 7:30. So I hope you'll join me on on Monday. I will post both in Facebook and in the YouTube video description the supplies that you'll need to prep for that. And then we'll get together on Wednesday and do some card making and see what you design through clues. So I hope you'll join us for that. All right, I'm going to take these off. I am using my pick tool. I find that's easier for me, also a little bit faster than wrestling with these tops. And we're going to adhere this on. So one more and one here. All right, so let's go ahead, and I am going to put that right, I think right there. So here's our focal point. Now, if you're worried about that getting messed up or torn a little bit, I'm just going to flip it over. I'm going to add a dot of glue here, and I'm just going to tack it down. Okay, so now we're going to adhere this to the front of the card. I am not going to use dimensionals. You certainly could, but I've popped it up already. So I'm going to just add some glue along the center or inside. And I'm going right up to where all those little die cuts of the floral edges. And we're going to go ahead and mount this right here. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to turn that a little bit. There. Now my leaves are on the card so that I don't have to worry about them getting smashed during the in the envelope. Now I did use the Happy Birthday from the Magnolia Mood stamp set, and I just wanted white. I didn't want it to be too offensive on this embossed. I didn't want to take away from that embossed background or even from my focal point from the Magnolia. So I'm just going to add this right in here, pretty much centered. And then we're going to add some gems. Now I took out a couple to use, and I wanted something very, I didn't want it to compete with the card. So I thought, one of the things I thought to use was the basic gray and smoky slate, because that's what that is stamped in. So let's go ahead and try that and see how that looks. So I'm going to bring these out, and let me take the cellophane off. These are really pretty. Yep, they stuck to the cellophane. Here we go. I think these are really pretty, and I think they'll pick up that smoky slate that we have for our stamped image. And I'm going to use the darker ones. So I'm going to pick up one, and I'm going to put one right here. And let's pick up another small one and put one here. And I'm going to get one large one, and I'm going to put that right here. All right. Now for the inside of my card, I actually forgot to cut a piece of, let's move this out of the way. So I'm going to grab a piece of basic white, and I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and we're going to cut a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to go down here, and we're going to cut that. Thought I had everything here and ready, and I guess I forgot the inside, but that's an important part to the card. So let's add to it. So on here, I am going to leave the inside blank, as I often do, but I am going to come in with this little magnolia bloom or bud, and I want to stamp that with my smoky slate. So let me grab that so that we can do that. And I have that right here. And again, I am going to turn it over to ink up. And I'm just going to come down here, and some of it's going to go off the card stock. All right. And then I'm going to let that dry for just a minute. And I'm simply going to come in and just add a little bit of color to the leaves and nothing else. So I'm going to come in with my light Mossy Meadow and just add a little bit of color. Now, I always stamp the inside once I'm getting ready to send it. That way I know who I'm sending it to and have an appropriate sentiment or greeting in there. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my bullet point, and I just want to come right along the stem and add a little bit of green. And we're going to stop right there. So let's add this to the inside of our card. Another tip when using your glue, I drag my glue along the paper. It actually prevents it from like gushing or kind of sending a lot out that tip, so that you don't over ink or over put more glue on it than you want. And I cut that a little too large. So let's trim that down. And I'm going to add some more glue here. All right, that's better. So let's add that here. And here's our card. Isn't that pretty? I really love that. It's just simply, I guess, simple elegance is a good way to put it. Let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the Magnolia Mood Bundle. If you did enjoy the video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel. Feel free to share the video. I hope if you have that, you will try to create using that stamp set. And I will be back with you on Monday evening at 7 p.m. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you soon.